All right, welcome to episode 15 of the War Room. We are just a day away from entries opening for the 2024 King of Ohio. I'm joined by Robbie Crittenden of The Simple Solution, and we are here to answer any rules questions that you guys may have, address any questions for the show one last time, and look forward till tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Should be fireworks.
Exciting.
All right, Robbie. I'll give a little bit of rundown of the show for those guys that maybe have missed some information of the show. We have a 50,000 to win class, King class, that will hit our show based on 60 entries. So we again, when we put flyers or we put numbers on the flyers, that's how many entries max we are taking, and that would be the max payout. So those of you that maybe haven't ran for us, if we were to get 50 cars in that class, we will pay 5/6 of the advertised payout. So it's still a lot of money. I'm confident we'll get 60, but tomorrow night we will see. So we also added a front wheel drive. We had a front wheel drive team show last year. We added a rear wheel drive stock team show, which will feature and is sponsored by The Simple Solution and Robbie, which he'll answer any questions that you guys may have on that rule set. A very popular rule set, a really cheap build for those of you that want to build full-size cars, and Robbie can hook you up with anything that you may need for those cars to get them to run right, and we look forward to that. The questions look like they're already coming in, so we'll get to those questions in just a second, but I want to run through the rest of this lineup. We'll have a youth class that will resemble rear-wheel drive youth class that will resemble those rules. We'll have a front-wheel drive youth. We'll offer trucks and minivans. So we're excited for all those entries to open up tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And I'll get into these questions, these questions real quick, and then I'll get back to the rules.
Let's talk about the format, Dustin.
Okay.
Let's talk about the format, because a lot of people wasn't listening the other day. I've had a million questions about the format of how we're going to run it and how, of how we draw for the heats, etc., and how many cars are going to be in the heat. I've had tons of those questions. I think we ought to hit that first.
Asher. So I'll answer this real quick, and then we're going to get into that format that you mentioned. So Asher, will there be a link posted? Yes, there will be a link posted at 6 o'clock tomorrow. I will update my website, and there will be a link on our website. Right after that, I will post the link to Facebook. So if you want to be like on it, be on the website. The Facebook link will have probably a 5-second delay. It won't be much, but I'll have them both ready. But it'll be a 5-second delay. So be on the website on the main page, and you will see that button pop up. You'll click on that button, then you'll go into register. I know it's going to be a hot topic tomorrow, so I wanted to address that quick. Thanks for the comment. So back to what Robbie said, format. And I'm guessing you're talking about the rear wheel drive, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. So those of you that attended last year or got to see this show on Derby Nation or even our YouTube channel, what we did last year is we took 40 teams and we said we're going to stick our format for the two-man team is we are going to stick 5 teams in a heat with only one winner. So very important. There's only one winner. There's no opting out. If you go to the Consi, you're going to have to beat more teams in the Consi than you did in the heat. So that's a fact. Last year it worked out to where you still had to beat 5 teams in the front wheel drive team show in the Consi. If you went to the Consi and you still had to beat 5 in the heat. But what it is we draw live on the track. So everyone knows. You don't know when you're running, who you're running against. We draw chips right out of a bucket, right on the track. The excitement is incredible. The anticipation is incredible. So we'll draw 5. We'll get them ready. They'll pull to the track, and then we won't draw the next 5 until that next heat is ready. As you know, Robbie. I mean, it gets pretty intense down there. Yep. The pee breaks, the nervousness, the puking, all those things that we go through as Derby drivers. We are going to make you go through that maybe 7 times in your just for your guys' class.
Yep.
So it's exciting there. I hope that answered that question. Do you have any follow up on that, Robbie? Anything else I need to
Nope.
elaborate?
No, sir. Sounds good.
Our feature, our consies and are harder than our heats. So if we can, we will always make the consies harder than the heats. So if you have to beat 4 teams in your heat, expect to beat more than 4 teams in the consi. It's the way it is. There's no cop outs. Everything is earned here, and we have limited features because of our format, and that's why last year the excitement was off the chains. The format on Bobby Loveless ran the front wheel drive team show. He said it's definitely nerve wracking. Yes, it is.
Yep.
And that's the way it should be. That's what makes it fun. You can't get that feeling anywhere else. So
last year, one of my favorite memories of doing that whole format thing was like when you knew a really good team was there, and you'd see everybody like when their name didn't get called for that heat, you just see them like, like, whoo, it wasn't us.
I want to make sure we capture those emotions. I want to make sure that we get some Derby Tees live action in there and get to see those emotions, because sometimes you might draw that tough team and it's, you better strap your chin strap a little tighter because it's about to be a war. Here's a question for you, Robbie. What do you think about this?
Is that asking if I'll build 2 raffle cars to run in the class?
I don't know.
That's the way I read it.
Is
so it? So we build 2 raffle cars, and the raffle cars win. I win $10,000. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, money goes back to you, right? You were the owner.
Do they got to meet the rules? I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good one. Someone's gonna cut that out.
I'm always entertained to put. I mean, that would be pretty neat.
I know we're going to be doing a raffle car for the King class again this year.
That's cool.
Maybe we do something like this too. Maybe we can talk and maybe we'll work something out.
I like thinking outside the box like that, though. That's pretty good.
To give 2 guys a chance to get in there that'd be cool. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see what we can.
It'd be neat to pull 2 different people too, and then they become a team.
Yeah,
that'd be neat. Yeah.
Yeah, it would. Okay, let's get into the rules real quick as the questions keep coming in. I want to talk about the King rules. There's a couple different changes. Give me 1 second here. My kid is yelling at me, so give me 1 second. I'm on mute. Take it over for a second.
Okay. For the street stock rear wheel drive class, I can speak for that, and I appreciate everybody having lots of questions about that. That shows me that everybody has a lot of interest, and the street stock class, I hope, fills up pretty quick. I love the street stock class myself because it doesn't take a whole lot to build a car, and with my personal life, my personal career, I don't have a whole lot of time to build cars. So I like building them and moving on with it. So that is why that class is my class that I like to run and build for. But like I was saying, I appreciate all the interest in that class, and I hope that we can put on a good show as a group, the street stock rear wheel drive guys. So
I'm confident those guys will put on a show. I know there's some rivalries and some names that have already been thrown around that are signing up, and they draw each other, man. It's going to be a good one. In the King class, real quick, I'll get back to that. In the King class, there's a couple rule changes. Let me pull those rules up quick. we have kept these rules as close to originally as they had. I mean, as they were 4 years ago. So a lot of people complain across the country about rules constantly changing. This is 4 years straight that we have had the same rule set. This year, there's just a couple changes. One of the changes is the core support mount. We're going to allow you 3x3 up to 3x3 through the core support. You don't have to run 3x3. It could be 2x2. But we're going to allow you to run that all the way, your core support spacers all the way through the core support rather than 6 inches. You can read into that rule, read in depth in that rule online in the rule set. We are going to change the way we measure front bumpers. So we're going to measure to the top of a front bumper rather than to the bottom. With guys putting 2x2s and doing all this funny stuff, we're measuring to the top. So if you're putting a 2x2 or something up there, like that is counting as your bumper. So we are measuring to the top of that. You can't have anything over 30 inches. The rear bumper is the next thing that changed. We defined exactly what it can be, how tall it can be. If you run an aftermarket bumper, what the dimensions can be. And then also the height of the rear bumper. So a lot of guys are slanting these rear bumpers. We will not allow you to have a ramp bumper. I know you guys, some of you guys will get on here and say, well, you just ran one. You've been running one all year. I know that, but I also know what it was designed and built for. Where I ran it, it was allowed. Okay. And I know the advantages for it. We are not allowing you to run that type of bumper at our show. So instead of, if you take a normal bumper, some of these guys are going to slant them and try to do the same thing. It has to be at least 5 inches tall when you slant it. So you can't just slant it over like that. That's not 5 inches tall. We're going to measure from the bottom going up, and it's got to be 5 inches. So yeah, can you take an 8-inch bumper and slant it a little bit? Yes. Okay. But it's got to be 5 inches tall, if that makes sense. And that's defined. And it also says in the rules, if you have questions, you better ask, because we don't want you cutting a rear bumper off of that car. That will be detrimental to the build, detrimental to the weekend. Don't force us to do that. Please ask if you have any questions. We want to get away from these crazy rear bumpers. And I know I had one, but look, I also know that we shouldn't have them, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do that. That's the only changes, guys. And, nothing else has really changed. I do want to mention that on 03 and newers, we have 3 options for what you can do to 03s. Listen, I built plenty of 03s. I'm an 03 guy. I like 03s. I want to make them competitive in this rule set. And 03 won our show the first year. This is what I want to point out on the 03s. These 3 have options. You cannot take all the good stuff from option 1, all the good stuff from option 2, and all the good stuff from option 3 and make a 4th option. Okay? You can't do that. You have to choose one of the 3 options, and you have to abide by those options. You were giving you a choice of 3. I'm confident that you can build an 03 any way you want in these 3 options and be competitive. But you can't just take all the good stuff from each one. Okay, I hope that makes sense. A 9802 won last year. So we've had an 03 win, a 70 sedan, and a 9802 win last year. On our front wheel drive, you got anything on that, Robbie?
No, that sounds like a good set of rules. Okay.
And look, I know you can be competitive in these 03s. I made sure that 03s can be competitive. Our goal of this rule set, and I want to encourage you to compare other shows out there. This rule set allows you, whatever you're good at building, because how often do we hear this, Robbie? Well, if the rules are good, I will build to the show. How often do you hear that?
Yep, all the time.
What does that really mean?
It's different to every single person.
Exactly. And when you start to dig through those what that comment means and where it's coming from, it means, look, I build 9802s. If they cater to 9802s, I'm coming, right?
Right.
But if
Right.
it caters to a wagon, I'm not coming. This
Right.
rule set is written so you can compete in anything that you want. Look, guys, I'm telling you right now, we've had an 03 win it the first year. We've had a 70 sedan win it the GM sedan win it the second year. This year it was a 9802, but we've had wagons, we've had Imperials, we've had all different kinds of rule sets. And remember, we were the first one to bring Imperials back 3 years ago. No one allowed Imperials at big shows in the state of Ohio until we did. Imperials haven't dominated any show. They've been competitive. Tanner Voyers, Ben Bowersock, to name a few. Steve Siopa brought a subframer last year. Tim Seitz was in a subframer last year. I hope I'm not missing anyone, but there's been some really nice Imperials at our show. None of them have won yet, but that's because it takes a little luck and a little skill and drive. You got to catch the right breaks to win. But I'm very confident that in any build that you're good at, you can come here and run. So that's what this rule set is. Look across the country. That's not the case. Most rule sets for I bet you could say 20 years were wagon dominated. If you had a wagon, you had the best car available. That's not the case here. You can compete in anything. Not that wagons are handicapped by any means, but if you're a wagon guy, you're gonna have a great shot at winning the Derby. If you're 9802 guy, you're gonna have a great shot at winning the Derby. Rob, we've got a question for you.
I seen that. I was looking at the rule. I think it on that flip plate for the back bumper on a street stock car, it's only allowed to be as long as the bumper shock is factory. I was looking for the exact wording in the rule, but I believe it's in the bumper area, if I'm correct.
Thanks, Mason, for coming on. Kenneth Engel asked about gussets on tubing. Look, a lot of shows out there allow you to have gussets to the 2x2 or the 3x3. There's no gussets here. So anyone that has gussets will be cutting them off. There is no gussets. We clearly define what you can have, and gussets is not in that example. Thanks for that, Ken. I'll get into the front wheel drive street stock and the minivan stuff real quick.
It says you may use a bumper flip plate and the bumper shock both, but the flip plate must only mount to the outside of the frame and can only go 1 inch past the bumper shock mounting bolt, 1/4 inch thick max.
All right. That is to Mason's question there.
Yes, sir.
That is addressed in the rules. Awesome. Dan's running the Derby tonight, so he couldn't be on. But I want to talk about the front wheel drive. I won't answer questions. So for those of you that are not sure how we work, we don't answer any questions that are me personally. I don't answer any questions that's not mine. The head inspectors, they answer that if it's an event question or if it's something that we specifically talked about. For example, I was asked the other day, Robbie, in your class, people want to switch bodies, and we've talked about that. I directly shot that screenshot to you that said this is how I answered that. You are not allowed to body swap in Robbie's class.
It actually says it in the rule in the body area where the body bolts are, no body swaps. We added that to it to clear that up.
Yeah, you're technically not allowed to take all the body bolts out, right? You're allowed to.
I added that too, that the body bolts cannot be touched. If the body bolts are touched, the car will not run.
Yeah, so if you guys, say you got a rusty body or something and that you don't want it on there, look, you better find another car, right?
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of cars out there. You got to, that's on you.
And I'm a builder, and I know exactly where these guys are coming from, but we're also trying to keep this class as a street stock style class, keep it easy for the guys that ain't got a lift or anything to be able to get that body off. So, and make this a quick, fun build. So,
yeah, we just felt like the body swapping just got a little far away from the street stock, similar to, the putting 350s in Fords and stuff. It's not a stock class anymore.
yeah.
We talked about that too. It's just when you start interchanging those two parts, the goal of this class is to keep a ceiling on it and not let these guys overbuild and extend that ceiling. We have to draw the line somewhere. So,
Yeah. In our rules, we do allow the 2 front core support bolts to be changed, and then you're allowed 2 other ones. So wherever those 2 are, I know 9802s are real bad about the 2 right behind the rear tires being rusty. I can't tell you how many cars I've built that's blowed apart there when they went under pressure. But we do allow the 2 core support bolts and then 2 other ones to be touched or repaired if they are bad. So that's up to whoever to fix that. Okay, yeah, Hunter, perfect. That's good, right on time. Anyway, so that's 4 total body bolts that you can touch. Any of the other ones cannot be touched. I know people tighten body bolts down. I know people loosen them up and cut the metal out and then put the rubbers back in. Those body bolts cannot be touched. So,
and we are aware of the tricks and the tools of touching body bolts without leaving marks and stuff like that. We know that. And Robbie knows that. He'll be looking for that stuff. So at your own risk, right?
yep.
At your own risk. We don't want to necessarily have to turn people away, but we have to draw a line.
Kyle's trying to throw me under the bus, Dustin.
Yeah, is this one of those gray areas?
If I can't, I don't know how to answer that.
There are gray areas in the rules.
I should have waited on those.
Yeah, you should have waited on those.
The Matt. Did you see the one from Matt?
Yeah,
we need to cover that. Rear trailing arms on the rear wheel drive street stock class. Those rear trailing arms, the gussets are fine. In the rules, I put that you could run a simple solution style gusset, and I'm not just saying that. Like if you can make them like mine, if you can buy somebody else that's selling them like mine, but that's the style that we will allow. I will not allow tubing. We won't allow square tubing. Period. I've had people ask about Watts kits or whatnot. We won't allow it. If the bracings is fine, like for the 9802s, because I know how weak they are and they will throw the draw shaft out. We're building a pretty decent build. That's the last thing I want to do is watch you throw a draw shaft out. So we do allow those gussets in the lowers and the uppers, and that's it. No tubing.
And Matt, if you can comment on there, if that was a front wheel drive, if you intended that to be front wheel drive or a rear wheel drive. But thanks for answering that. I know it needed addressed for both. Brandon's got something on here. Do you want to talk about that?
No, I don't think that we should be allowed to do that. No non-wire. Not until after the heat. If you make it to the feature, you got to go to the consi. You get unlimited non-wire and four fix-it plates. So if you make it to the feature, but if you're going to the consi, you get unlimited non-wire. So at that time, they could try to fix those the rusty ones. But we're already allowing 2 and then plus 2 of the core support. So if they didn't want to use the core support, they could do 4 technically, I guess. But I don't know why you wouldn't do the ones in the core support.
Yeah, I think it's kind of on them, right? To pick the car.
Pick the 2. Yep, pick the worst 2. Yep.
You're competing at a big event for a lot of money. You're gonna have to spend a couple extra $100 on a car. Great question. Thanks for
very good, Brandon. Thank you.
Here's a good one.
4.6 in a wagon. Absolutely. You can put a 4.6 in anything you want. You're allowed carbureted motors and bubbles, and you're allowed, and long as it's Chevy to Chevy or Ford to Ford. So if it's a 80s and newer, say it's a 1980 Ford wagon, you can absolutely put a 4.6 in that. As long as it's 40.
It's got to meet specifications, though. You got to read the rules. There's certain
your motor mount locations need to stay within 2 inches of the factory location, and motor mounts have to be in their factory rubber style motor mounts. Yeah, no solid mounting a motor down.
Yeah, there's a couple things you got to abide by there. So just make sure, John, if you need some help with that, get a hold of Robbie. I think that answers Jed's question too.
I guess he's asking like if he can put an LS in. Yeah, LS and a bubble. Yes, absolutely. Yep. As long as it's a GM, you can put it in anything. As long as it's a GM and GM. So make sure you read those rules on where the motor mounts go, and the cross member rule. Make sure you read both of those rules.
Yep, it's just got to abide by those. So good questions.
Very good.
I do want to touch on this front-wheel drive street stock real quick for Dan.
Yep.
Not much is here. This year they are allowing carb conversions, stock pedal. Trunk lids can be dished. Okay, so in the past we've had it getting a little close to guys pushing that dish, so we're just going to allow you to dish them this year, but they have to stay on top of the factory drip edge, so they should, do the U just like you would set a Ford up or something like that. We are going to allow you to do that. There's a little bit more definition on the bumper rule. If you're using square tubing, exactly what it can be, you can read into that. There's one gusset per corner of the cage. Last year, I don't think we allowed any gussets. So there's one gusset per corner of the cage. It must be within 6 inches of the corner and meet all cage specifications. So that means it's a little gusset, guys, within 6 inches of that corner. So, the long side can only be 6 inches. And that is pretty much it on the front wheel drive on as far as changes. Look, it's a really light build. There was a lot of junk that came out of that class. I venture to say there's probably going to be a lot less nose-to-nose action this year, maybe hitting those tires to preserve those cars a little bit. But man, was that class wild last year.
Less than 10 minutes of heat, right?
Yeah, less than 10 minutes of heat. You get 10 cars on a track. I mean, I've been to county fairs where 10 cars on the track will last an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awful, right? These guys put on an absolute show. It was awesome. Not everything was junk. Guys were being smart, strategic. It really showcased who was on their game that weekend. Not necessarily, hey, the argument of who was the best, in the front wheel drive and whatever. Well, that weekend, I can tell you who it was. And that's what it's about. Who was the best that weekend? And we're going to have those guys on here in the next couple weeks. And I'm super pumped to talk about them because I don't think they were the favorites. But you don't have to be the favorites at this show. Okay? This is about who was the best that weekend. Make sure we're covering all these questions. Dusty said we should be able to use washers in number 9. It may be something we talk about. I don't know if we're going to allow that to happen because then it allows welding prior to the show, and I don't know. A drill bit and wiring through the drill bit does wonders. I think that's where we'll stay, Dusty. No fuel limitations. We don't have any fuel limitations in any of our rule sets. We do ask safety-wise that if we're going to label your car a certain way, whether it's paint your stick or the top of your stick, something just to identify for our fire crew or something. If something happens, hey, that you're running on methanol and, this is how we need to approach this fire. So we will do that. Good question. Tyson threw a big one out. I don't know if we're going to get into this one today, but I know we're going to have some podcast on this. You know, in the Derby world, there's a lot of different parts vendors doing a lot of stuff. Some are the first to do it. Some get copied. We're going to have some extensive conversations on that, and maybe how we need to address that, or maybe the hardships that causes for guys like you, Robbie, when you're at the forefront of inventing these products. I know it's happened with a number of parts vendors in the past, but I know it's going to hit close to home for you too, as you continue this 4.6, just pushing the limits of the 4.6 stuff.
Yep, it's a good comment. That'd be some really good podcast shows for us.
What's this mean? What about a no tire shoot rule? Does that make sense to you?
I think it's supposed to be no tire shot, but I don't know what that means. I guess that you're not allowed to hit in the tires? No, you can't do that.
No, that's what I think that's what showcases the drivers. You got to hit soft spots on a car. If you're out there just junking things, well, I can tell you right now, you're not going to last very long.
You let your guard down, I'm taking that.
Oh, I'm hitting every tire
that's the softest spot I can hit on your car. That's gone.
Yep. I'll take over for a second here, Robbie. Can you see comments popping up?
A few of them, yeah.
Okay. If anything pops up,
the last one was Dustin. The last one was Dusty saying something to think about for next year's. The last one I can see.
I got to take care of this little.
Okay, that's fine.
Real quick.
That's fine. The rules for I can speak on the rear-wheel drive street stock class, so I'll just go ahead and take over while Dustin's dealing with his boy. Family comes first, so that's absolutely awesome that he's taking care of that. But for the rear-wheel drive street stock class, I can speak on that myself. I tried to write these rules so they fit every style car. The Chevys have their weak spots. I don't personally think that they're as strong as the 9802 or any bubble Ford for that, say, in the 80s and newer GM. I don't think they're that strong. So I tried to write these rules so it give each individual style car a chance to be able to compete with us. So, and that's why I decided to let the carburetors in there because, I just think it makes it even for everybody to where they can build a pretty decent build that doesn't cost a fortune. So if you already have a carbureted 350 Chevy, supposedly, and you can put it in a GM Chevy Caprice or whatever you want to put it in, a Cadillac, Delta 88, whatever. You don't have to go buy a bubble top Ford and buy all the Simple Solutions parts to be able to run that. So you can still compete in this show and have fun with us. So I tried, like I said, what my point of this was I tried to write these rules to where it made every style car equal if you wanted to build it to these rules. So I hope people can see that when they read the rules and understand that. So that's all I got. Welcome back, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks for covering there.
Yeah.
A couple new ones came in I want to talk about.
Hunter Vyers again.
Yeah.
Let me see what else it says. You are allowed 4 fix-it plates coming in. You can put those anywhere you want. Plus, you're allowed 2 3x6 A-arm straps. So you're allowed to come down off the A-arm. So if you're smart on how you place those, you technically could say you had 6. I'm not, throwing it out there, but if you're smart how you use those, but yes, you are allowed 4 4x4 plates. Those can be tacos. They cannot be cut up into pieces. I'm not sure if the rule says that or not, but I would rather them not be cut up into pieces and keep them in 4 4x4 pieces. 4 complete plates. Read the rule on that. I have it listed down. It tells it right how it goes. So,
yeah, it tells you how you can do it.
yep.
Richard, want to make sure we cover this and everybody knows. So tomorrow at 6:00 on our website, tripledentertainmentllc.com, on the front page, right next to the rules, you will see a button that will bring you to signups at 6:00. I will update and post immediately after. So it'll be a 5-second delay. I'll post it on Facebook. But if you want to be the first one to sign up, you got to be on the website tomorrow.
We got Dalton. Dalton's in here.
Another question, is there a time limit? Dude, there's not. We are not going to need a time limit. I can tell you that. Those heats are electric. If you get caught sitting still, you're getting smoked.
You better go before you get got. That's all I know.
Yeah, you better just take as many wheel shots as you can, man, because I mean, what are we going to have, a 10-minute time limit? Because that's all it'll last.
No, it'd be electric, like you said.
Real quick, the guy's asking about the format real quick. I know different people are tuning in, so we addressed this at the beginning. I want to cover it again real quick for anyone that did miss it. So in the front-wheel drive stock and the rear-wheel drive stock shows, you are going to run 5 teams in a heat with 1 winner. Keep in mind that if you draw one of your buddies or whatnot, the consies are definitely going to be harder. So, like, look, if somebody was to break off or whatever, and you're willing to run against 6, 7, 8, 10 teams in a consi that you have to beat because only 1 winner will go on, well, that's on you, okay? But we're putting you in a situation which you have to run against 4 other teams, and you only have to beat 4. You are rewarded for winning the heat. The consies will always be harder. So don't think that there's a way out of this thing. You guys are building these cars for competition, and we're competing at the highest level here.
And where Christy put on here about the 6 plates, so is that how we're going to do that? Is that how you want to do that, Dustin?
What's that?
Christy put on there 6 total for the consi cars and 8 total for the feature cars. I know we said unlimited non-wire after the heat, but is that how you want to do that, or do you want to do the consi cars don't get any plates, or how do you want to do that? I don't know.
We'll just clarify that in the rules. Let me look in the rules and we'll clarify that. I believe the front wheel drive is as posted there. So let's talk about that and make sure we clarify that for these guys.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not gonna make or break someone signing up, but
no. Yep. Kyle Baker put on there about the engines. Remember that this is a team style derby and all it takes is 1 shot. So that big 602 or whatever, it ain't worth the darn, in my opinion, in a team style show. I mean, he can hold it wide open, spinning forward and backwards, but if he can't steer it or, got a rear wheel broke off, it ain't worth nothing. So
we preach about this all the time, Robbie. You've been in these conversations. I don't care if you have the hardest car on the track. I don't care if you have the biggest motor, the best rear end. If you can't drive the car when it comes to these formats, dude, you're not going to win.
No, team style derbies are always upsets. That's why I love them. Yep.
Dude, the hardest car has never won our derby, and it likely will never win our derby unless it's with the best driver that weekend.
Yep.
Of course, there's different scales of cars. We talk about them being in a spectrum. Yeah, there's 9.9 builders out there on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yep.
Man, rarely do I see those 9.9 builders be a 9.9 driver that weekend and take everybody out. There's just so much that goes into it.
Also, keep in mind with that 602, you're using stock cross member, stock tie rods, OEM A-arms, OEM spindles. There's a lot of stuff that could be easily taken out there.
So in the past, for those of you that don't know, we do a Triple D Insider. Cody comments on here. if you're an insider, what you do is you get a friendly foe. This only applies to the king class, okay, that runs the format. So in the single heat of the king class, this applies there. You get to pick one person you're guaranteed not to run against if you are a Triple D insider at the time of the show. So this will not apply in the front wheel drive or the rear wheel drive heats. It can't. We did the numbers. It just doesn't work out. We can't do it. So you are running against who you draw. So again, I want to mention that you get a friendly foe in the king class. So if you and another buddy build out of the same garage, you're worried about pulling each other, you become insiders, you're guaranteed not to run against that guy. So it's been really helpful in the past. And I know guys don't want to build the same car side by side and run against each other. I get it. And you don't have to in that king class. So
Bobby Rice asked how many teams per heat?
5.
5 teams.
5 teams per heat.
One goes.
One goes. It is absolutely electric, guys. Boat tanks. Kerry Miller. We'll talk about this. Guys, safety. We are erring on the side of safety. If something is not safe, we're not allowing you to run it. We can't. If you don't run your fuel lines right, or if you're using rubber fuel lines, not to beat Robbie's drum here, but he has fuel lines that connect up in these cars. Yeah, braided fuel lines. Like, guys, the last thing we want is an accident to happen.
That's kind of vague too. On the boat tank thing, absolutely no plastic tanks. Absolutely zero plastic boat tanks. Now, you know, like Dustin said, after the plastic boat tank will be the final to say whether it's safe or not. But no plastic tanks, period.
Hey, your boy. I love his TikToks, by the way. Chainsaws. Hey, I got something for Thursday night that I think we may implement. I'm not going to bust it out right now, but I got something for Thursday night that'll be a real fun deal, I think, for anyone that attends the event on Thursday night.
Golf carts and Power Wheels?
No, not golf carts and Power Wheels. No.
Man, I thought we were going to make that an event this year.
No, not golf carts and Power Wheels. Is there a concept for the rear-wheel drive class? Yes, there is. There's a concept for the rear-wheel drive, and there's a concept for the front-wheel drive, as well as the king class. Youth rear-wheel drive, youth front-wheel drive, trucks, and vans will all be one-shot deals. That's a good question. I don't think that is addressed. All right, I hope this was informative. I like this. Answer any questions we can get out there. I hope hope you guys liked it. We do got around 50. I think we peaked out at maybe 55 guys tuning in. So once again, I see more stuff on here about the plates. Just so we're clear, we're in the rear wheel drive street stock class. I can speak for that. We are allowing you 4 plates right from the rip. 4 4x4 plates. Put them anywhere you want. As long as they're not welded to the body. They have to be on the frame, not welded to the body. But the rest of it, Dustin and I need to go behind the scenes and discuss what we're going to do there and what we're going to allow after the heat and what we're going to allow for the feature if you don't make it, if you got to go into the consi, etc. So you'll see that come out. Hopefully that won't keep you from signing up, but whatever it is going to be good, and we know that we want you to fix your car to put on a good show. But let us sit down and talk that through. We need to figure that out on our own. Anybody that is waiting and thinking that they're going to wait till the end of the weekend to sign up and get registered, I
don't suggest it.
I don't know if that's going to be a possibility, guys.
If we could get some of these people I see on here, like Raylan and Michael Perkins, and if we get some of these people to sign up, it'd be some good drivers on here.
Absolutely. I don't think waiting you're not going to get into the show if you wait. So we know tomorrow night's going to be electric in all of the classes. I fully expect the King class to fill. I really do. I know there's some data out there. The rear wheel drive stock is almost not even a question. Front wheel drive stock is not even a question. It's going to be electric.
Oh man, my little brother's on there posting a bunch of smack, I guess.
Get him in that power wheel I was in last year.
1 versus 1 Power Wheel Derbies adults. We'll do that in the camp at night after the derby's over.
Yeah, look, it's going to fill fast, guys. I'm telling you, we're real excited about it.
Michael Clifton, what's up, buddy? Yes, I think that will fill up fast. There's the man right there, Gage Sumner. Look at that. What's up, Gage?
You seeing guys jump in here? I can't see that. How are you looking at that?
I've got it up live on my phone so I can read the comments. And it shows who's coming on and who's going off.
Are we going to see Dylan at the show?
Hopefully.
We're going to see McCollum at the show?
You said grudge match with Sean McCollum? That's awesome. How many vans? Justin O'Brien.
20 vans. All those one-shot deals are limited to 20.
There's
And
a
that'll
question.
There's
a question about filming. I've seen that 3 times.
Yeah, we're working out. We'll work that stuff out. Listen, we film all of our stuff. Last year we decided to work with Derby Nation. I don't see that changing, so we will be online filming the event, and then we personally film it too, so we can put out all the content. Those of you that haven't, that brings me to our social media. Guys, we're trying to grow our social media. It means a lot when we go have conversations with sponsors outside of the sport. If you guys could do me a huge favor, if you could get on our YouTube channel specifically and subscribe. We are trying to get to that 500 subscriber mark. I think we're like 34, 36-ish away. And I know we got enough people on here that probably haven't subscribed yet to get to that tonight. That would be a home run for us. And then if you haven't liked and followed the page, make sure you like and follow Triple D Entertainment as well as The Simple Solution. And we really appreciate that. It means a lot in these conversations. We're trying to build a following for you guys. So if you guys can seriously get on our social media, and please do that for us. We have Instagram, we have TikTok too. So, but those two, Facebook and YouTube, is our big ones. Please get on there.
Did you see that one from Chris Miller? I think you've already answered that, but if you want to hit that up again. His boy was one of the ones I sponsored at Butler. That's the first out-of-town show that his son has ever run, Marcus Miller. That's pretty neat to watch him do that.
You think he's talking about the youth?
It's the small car. It'd probably be the team show. I'm not sure. Chris Miller, which class are you asking about? That's a good question, Dustin.
Well, if he's asking about the youth, we're taking 20. If he's
20.
asking about the front-wheel drive team show, we're taking 40 teams.
Okay.
That did sell out last year. It will likely sell out again really quick.
Yep.
Garrett, so Garrett may be new to how we do this, so we want to make sure we answer this question. Look, if a class doesn't fill, we pay the percentage that it filled. Okay, so let's say if we were taking 10 spots, all right, and 9 of them filled, we pay 90% of the advertised payout. That's how we do it. That's how it's advertised on our flyers. So, for example, 40 teams. Now, look, it's going to fill, but if it doesn't and it gets to 38, then it's going to be 30, whatever that percentage is of 40. That's what it'll pay. So it'll be like what, $9,500 or $9,600, whatever that comes out to be.
Yep.
It'll pay.
We are allowing aftermarket shifters in the rear-wheel drive street stock class. Yes, sir.
Okay, you got that.
Yep.
Here is the link. I don't know if you guys will be able to copy that, but that's the link to our YouTube channel to get us to the YouTube channel. If you just go on there and search Triple D Entertainment, you're going to find it. Go on YouTube and search Triple D Entertainment. I'm telling you, you're going to find it. I hope. I'm going to check. I'm going to check right now and see if our YouTube subscribers are going up. No, not even one. Nobody's got on there. You guys are killing me.
I'm going back, Justin, to see what your question was. I missed it, I guess. I didn't see it come through.
Justin.
I don't see a question from him.
I don't see a question either.
What is your question, Bob? Type it back up. It never came through.
Right here. It was way up there.
Sorry.
So it's some clarification on the crush boxes. We can get you some clarification on that. That's a very good question. We'll get you some clarification on that, and we'll make sure we get that out. Yeah, thanks for following up on that too, guys. We don't intentionally miss anything. It's just we want to make sure we touch everything, especially getting on here. Justin, thanks for following up on that. I don't want to, and by the way, I don't want to answer that question because I'm not a front wheel drive guy, and our front wheel drive guy is not on here. So I'm going to have this question with our front wheel drive guy and make sure you get the right answer, not necessarily the quick answer.
Hey, Chris Miller, go on Triple D's page and look for the youth mini car class rules. Go by those rules. Don't go by what is at Butler. No.
This is answered right in the rules. You can address this.
Yeah, we do allow, you have to have the stock steering column, but it is allowed to have a U-joint where the rag joint goes at the steering box. It has to stay stock column though. No steering shafts. No aftermarket shafts.
Tyson put up our link again. So at Triple D Entertainment, if you just
Tyson's on top of it.
I want to see this go up. Man, not yet. Guys are killing me. Will there be a waiting list if it fills? Yep, there will be a waiting list. So we will start that waiting list. You will have to reach out to me personally, and we'll put you on the waiting list. You won't be able to sell spots, so because we have that waiting list. Okay. I mean, we'll give it a couple more minutes. You might want to address this.
No sky high steering shafts.
No.
Nope. It has to stay a stock steering shaft with a swivel at the rag joint.
So, guys, no. I don't know the first one.
Now Kyle, thank you. We enjoy doing this, and this is we want you guys to feel comfortable and know that you're going to have a very fair chance at running and competing for the money. That's why we're doing this.
Talked about refunds for those of you that necessarily haven't ran it for us in the past. How we base our entries, our payouts is on entries. So if we start refunding, so let's say if Robbie, you come to me and say, hey, the King class is full, right? And then the week before, 25 people asked for their money back. Well, it necessarily wasn't full. So we don't want to lie to our drivers and say, hey, we're paying the advertised payout, okay, when we're really not, because the people want refunds. So refunds is not something that we do. When you sign up, it is a commitment. Now, we will do our best to make sure that whether you can switch it to a team or sell it or whatever, we will work with you. But we can't do that the way we structure our show. So I hope people understand that. We can't do it, okay? Commitment, we want you committed. We want to be able to put out exactly what we're paying and go from there. Zach has put me on the spot here. Is there any chance that the fresh car only rule will be changed before the show? You never say never. Okay, you never want to back yourself into a corner. I highly doubt that it will be changed. I'm never going to say never. If there's an instance in which, we feel that there's a bunch of cars out there and maybe we're at like 50 entries and we want to, fill the class so you guys can get the 50. I'm not saying that we wouldn't entertain it, but man, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't. So never say never, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. And look, guys have built these style cars forever for $10,000. We're asking you to build this style car for 50. Please help us out here. I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask. This is something to think about. I really, we haven't ever done this in the past. I'm gonna have to think on this, how that works. I don't want to give you the quick answer and it'd be messed up. So I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I want to think about that. Thanks for commenting. Tincture.
The one from Alex we kind of talked about last night in our podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly talked about it. We're not sure exactly what we'll do. We got a lot of time till the show, 280 some days. So we will see. We'll see what we decide there. Anything else you want to get into?
We need to cover that all of the rear-wheel drive street stock cars. I'm not sure it said it in the rules, but all the rear-wheel drive street stock cars are fresh cars, no pre-runs. That whole class is fresh.
Yep, that whole class is fresh.
I don't think that anybody's talked about that. I just want to bring that up with that comment that came through a minute ago about the fresh cars for the King class.
Anything else you see we're missing on there?
Randy Hahn, that's still a discussion that Dustin and I are working through behind the scenes. So give us time to get that out there and to discuss that. We're trying to make sure that each car is equal, as far as that goes. I've built some 03 ups with 302s in them, and I've been around a few that have been built, and I just want to think this through before we just throw an answer out there. Dustin and I talked about it a little bit today, and we still have to come to a conclusion on it. We're working through it. So give us just a little bit of time to figure that out.
Yep, hang tight with us on that. She's spending too much time in the garage, Robbie. Too much time around her dad.
Good questions. The fix-it plates on the rear-wheel drive street stock cars, you're allowed 4x4 plates. You can use them in tacos or whatnot. I would rather them not be cut up. If you make it through your heat, Dustin and I are going to come up with the rest of that, like what you get after that. But you are allowed 4 right out of the gate. So however you want to use those 4x4 plates, that's up to you.
We're rocking and rolling tonight. There's a lot of people on here.
A lot of good questions.
I hope this helps. I hope this clarification before, entries really helps. Hope you guys appreciate it. Look at that. Yeah, we appreciate it. Look, we're going to get you. There will be a straight answer on that. Okay. So you're either allowed to cut them or you're not. And that will come out when we tell you what plates you can have. Likely it'll be just like the front wheel drive where you get to add plates per round, but we just want to clarify that. Hey, Zach, I am too. And I hope, look, I'm going to go on a little bit of rant here, okay? But I hope that we are at a point in time where there is going to be 60 drivers across the United States that are going to be willing to come compete. We got consies. You're going to be able to compete against the best out there. That we got 60 drivers that are willing to put it all on the line for the most money offered in the nation. There's not anyone else offering what we're offering. And I would be extremely disappointed if we can't get 60 cars to come run for that type of money. Zach's been at the event. He's seen how things have ran. He understands, what we're about. I agree 100%, that fresh cars, look, I don't want pre-rans. We always put our money where our mouth is. Please back us up and support it. And, we got some comments coming in and help us out here. Okay. We're pushing the limits of this thing, and we want you. We need you guys. We need you guys to be willing to come support. I want to comment on this. So, Billy, in my class, in the King class, you will be provided the fix-it plates. You will not be. You will have to actually. They cost like $5 or whatever a piece because obviously fix-it plates are not cheap. You will be provided the fix-it plates at the show. In my particular class, we will likely do the same for every other class, so that way everybody's on the same playing field. So I know I didn't answer that yet, but I saw your comment come in there. We will provide those fix-it plates like we've done in the past for all other classes.
For the King class.
And the other classes.
Okay.
We have done that in the past with the front wheel drive. I don't see us changing, not doing it for the rear wheel drive.
After the heat, right? So they'll show up. So you'll show up to the Derby for inspection with your 4x4 plates that are square for the rear wheel drive street stock. And then after that, we will provide the plates to you.
Yep.
So
that's how it'll work.
I think the first rule on our rear wheel drive street stock class for Tim Jr. For the rear wheel drive street stock class, you have to pass inspection within 3 times. If you can't do that, then you're not permitted to run.
Yeah, same thing with the King class. It is addressed in the King class too, of how we run the show, and you got to pass within, I think it's 1 time or 2 times or whatever it is. I'll have to check the rules, or you're not permitted to run, and that means that the car has to be to the rules.
Right.
Yes, you will. The number of that will be put in the rules here soon. What exactly the numbers? I'll have that update. So we're going to get into this stuff. We got into this last year, and I'm going to go ahead and take a firm stance on this, that we are going to, if it is deemed that a registered driver, okay, is not in their particular car are in that car, then they're not going to be permitted to run. So like in this circumstance, if a driver is on 2 teams and both cars make the feature, you are not putting another driver in that second car. Okay, you can choose your best car, and then you're taking one to the feature. That's how that will work. Now that's good. I mean, that's I don't know if I would have thrown that out here on this, but that is a clear answer in how we'll handle that. And I will clarify that post of what we're allowing, what we're not for registered drivers, and who's running those cars. I will make a post about that. Good stuff. Good stuff coming in. Okay, we'll give it like another minute. If we don't see any more comments coming in, we're gonna hop off here. I appreciate Robbie's time for not only doing this for us, but for everything you do for the Derby world. Again, Robbie's doing this class for us and helping us out with this class to put on a great show and for you guys. But he does this for several promoters across the nation. This Force 6 stuff is just catching fire, and it's because of this man right here. So if you guys need Force 6 stuff, I know Robbie's not going to say it, but I'm going to beat the drum. Look, this guy right here has did the homework for years. Okay, he deserves to reap some of the benefits of that. And what do I mean by that is when you go buy Simple Solution wiring harness, okay, and you don't buy an off-brand or something like that, Robbie's going to be here for years to come. He's going to answer your questions. He's going to take care of you. Support the guy that's going to be there and take care of you continuously. I know Robbie won't say that, but I'm going to say it for him. And that's across the country. That's not just at our show. That's everybody. This guy has put his blood, sweat, and tears into this. I've seen other businesses get copied and get mimicked, and it's a shame. I don't like that type of stuff because the guys that are innovative and creative and pushing it is the guys, that should reap the benefits of that. In my opinion, I've seen this happen with promoters. I've seen it happen with people that are parts vendors. And if you guys have noticed, there's a post today about that type of stuff. These guys run their selves thin all the time, just as we do. And I want these guys to make sure they get credit where credit is due.
Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry for the rant, guys, but
no, you're good. Good stuff. Yep. Thank you.
No. Nope. Quick disqualification. The driver and the car are married for the event. Driver and car become married for the event. You cannot switch cars. You can't switch drivers. None of that stuff. You are married. It does make sense. And I hope what I'm saying back to you makes sense. When you sign in and bring that car through, driver and car become married. Mike's in here pumping the old, beating the old drum for Simple Solution. But
thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
It's the truth, guys. This guy does a lot of things for all of us, not just me, not just Triple D, not just this event, but for a lot of people. Driver and car become married. So no, absolutely not. I'm telling you right now, if you get caught doing this and we catch you, immediate disqualification. Even if the event has started, okay, you pull a quick one by us and you get to the feature and we see that you're running a car, or it comes to our attention that you're running a car that you didn't in the heat, and we verify it, we will stop the show and break your stick. So and look, that's not a vendetta against you guys. That's just saying, hey, we got to have a standard and we have to enforce it. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys understand that. I understand that you guys are trying to do everything you can, but we have to uphold the standard.
The second rule on the rear-wheel drive street stock class, Dustin, I wanted to hit on just for 2 seconds. You ain't got to put it up there or nothing. Dustin and I are trying to push safety, and I can tell you there's nothing more than being a promoter and a driver having an issue and saying that one black car, right? The second rule on the rear-wheel drive street stock class is that you must have a roof sign, and it has to be 12 by 12. The reason that is just for that reason, because if you're having some medical issue or there's something bad going on that we need to start watching your car or whatnot, we need some way to be able to say car 532 or car 25 or whatever. So please, I know it says in our rules that it's highly recommended. You've got time, so maybe ask for one for Christmas, maybe have a cool one made. There's all kinds of guys out there that make these roof signs. You know, even if it's a cutout piece of metal with your number in it, and you can even paint it black, but we just need a way to be able to say, you know, hey, official, check on car such and such. I seen them take a bad hit. Do they look okay? You know, something that simple. So please think about that rule and think about the safety of that rule. Some people think roof signs make targets and make it easy for you to find, but if everybody out there's got one, it makes it that much harder for that to happen. So I just wanted to talk on that rule as far as safety goes, and please think about that. Maybe ask one for Christmas, your birthday, whatever. So,
and you can get a hold of Under the Table Graphics. He'll hook you right up. I
Yes,
got
sir.
his logo up in the top right of the screen. Under the Table Graphics. Tyson Mobley will hook you right up with an awesome roof sign. Mine's in the back. If you look over, I don't know what it would be, my left or right shoulder to you guys, but that 3 is one of my roof signs. He does awesome work, so he can hook you up with that.
Top of the line, yes, sir.
All right, let me go back to the comments quick. I know we got a couple more coming in. Stay on the phone. Yeah, the customer service. This is what I'm talking about. This guy is going to be around when you need it. Look, and so will other guys. There's plenty of other guys that make parts and stuff. They're going to answer the phone when you need it, so support them. Yeah, okay, maybe you can get something cheaper. Maybe it's $20 cheaper. That $20 isn't going to mean a thing when you call that guy back in 6 months and he's not there, okay, and he doesn't answer. Or you're in a pinch like this and Robbie stays on the phone with you for an hour. It matters. Support the guys. I've heard this said far too often in the Derby world. All you're doing is lining someone's pockets. As opposed to what? As opposed to lining someone's pockets outside of the Derby world? Keep the money in the Derby world. I would much rather my money go to Derby people than somebody outside of the Derby world, or to a particular sponsor maybe that comes in, right? Let's say we get a boot sponsor. All right. Let's say we get that's Red Wings. I mean, Red Wings is a popular boot out there. And they come in and they sponsor us. As a Derby community, why would we buy boots anywhere else? Like, these guys are seeing you, they're giving back to you, they're going to sponsor our community. Why? We really need to think about those things and say, hey, look, I don't care that this boot is $40 more or whatever. We've got to sponsor the people who support us. That's what other organizations do. And that's what we need to make sure, not just Red Wing, that was just an example, right? But within the Derby community, we got to make sure that we're supporting the parts vendors that are supporting us. So please, I hope that makes sense. It really means something for these guys and all the effort they put in. And then, you know, obviously to further the Derby world.
I take pride in my work, and I will always stand behind my work. Eugene put on there, what about a safety of a roof sign going flying? I sell aluminum roof signs, and I know some guys make steel ones and whatnot. If a roof sign is mounted the correct way, it ain't coming off.
Eugene, I don't know who Eugene is. Do you know who Eugene is?
I don't.
I don't know if this is like some made up fake account, but they've said a couple questionable things here that I'm just like, huh? The tire shot deal. And then he said something else. Let me put this up. I don't mean to give him a platform, but I'm just wondering if Eugene is a troll rather than somebody that is here to actually participate. He said, if you don't allow tire shots, that'll show who the best drivers are, because you can't be taken out by a wheel. I don't even know what that means.
No, the roof sign comment, if you get a good roof sign that's professionally made and then you mount it correctly, it's not coming off. If a roof sign come off during a Derby, we would stop it and grab it. I mean, I've seen cars get rolled over and eventually it breaks off, but it's usually got some damage. It makes it come off, like major damage. So,
Yeah.
and it doesn't go flying. It just falls off on the track. So you stop the Derby and you go get it.
No comments. Just run the Derby. Quit being a chicken. It's a fun weekend. It's a fair show, and the rules are the rules.
Thank you, Noah. Appreciate that.
These guys, these guys are awesome. Noah, and Tyler, they're awesome, man. They come, they compete every year, year after year. Sometimes it's disappointment, sometimes it's winning, and I love to see these guys run. I mean, they always put on a show. So thanks for commenting, thanks for hopping on here, man. Tyson chimes in on the innovator of the custom parts tends to know and understand most any troubleshooting issues versus a copycat.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Tyson.
It's no different than running these shows. You know the solutions. You've thought through things. I mean, the parts vendors, they're the one that started this. They've worked through kinks. Very rarely, I would say, Robbie, do you put out a part that you haven't track tested.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So
I sent out 15 of those axle savers over the last month, and I've sent out 5 of those water canisters that I just sent out for testing with good results from everyone. You know, with my hand, I couldn't do it myself, so I had to go that route, and I wanted people's opinion. And those parts that I sent out are those people's. They're theirs. They now own them, free of my charge, just for their feedback. So there's chances that I will do that with a lot of people. I reach out to people that I don't really know that ain't in my inner circle. So if I ever reach out for you, that it's not a joke. I'm really asking for your opinion on that product. So
you're a class act, man. How you healing up? How is it?
I'm not flipping you off, I promise. I'm good. I have to wear that little finger protector because the bone has not healed completely, and I can tell you that it makes me almost pee my pants if I bump it. So that finger protector keeps me from that. I'm very thankful, and the technology that we have in the world to be able to save my finger and put it back on blows my mind. The way that your body heals. I'm a mechanic. I'm an engineer. I can't believe how neat your body works and how that it heals itself. So technology and the way your body works is amazing. But I am good. That is my finger. So it's got this little thing on there. I take it off every night. But
all right. Hey, I'm going to wrap this thing up. So to wrap this up, I want to thank you guys for getting on. Recap registration opens at 6 Eastern tomorrow for all of our classes. It will be posted on our website first, followed probably by a 5-second delay on Facebook. So if you want to refresh at 6 o'clock tomorrow on our website, if you want to get in the show. And I want to thank you guys for coming on. We're going to talk about a lot of different topics on here. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to be real. Okay, we're not always going to be right. We're not always going to be perfect. We're just going to be real. I don't know if there's enough real talk and real garage talk that goes online for people to discuss. Some of it you may like, some of you may disagree, some of it you may agree. Okay. But we're going to do that, and we're going to continue to do that every Tuesday. We're going to hop on here periodically if it's not a Tuesday and do some of this stuff. So thank you guys very much for supporting the show, for supporting our sponsors, Big A Spindles. You can get those on Robbie Crittenden, Robbie Crittenden's website, The Simple Solution. Thank you to The Simple Solution, and thank you to Under the Table Graphics. We cannot wait to post sold out tomorrow. We'll see which class goes first. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.